everyone, it's Dustin with TWPD. Today we are going to be fixing the ultra rare brand new phone. It's all smashed up as you can see here. Let's turn off the screen. Okay, this is an A70. Just barely came out, and unfortunately this customer broke her phone. We got original screen here pulled right off of eBay. Hopefully we'll have those in stock ourselves soon. And screen looks like this. You can always get just the glass and LCD, but they're going to cost a lot more buying just the glass and LCD. I fully recommend ordering the whole entire assembly for proper parts. But we'll have these parts here shortly, and we're going to tear this down today and show you guys how to fix your phone yourself at home. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Nicole here with Cellbotics. We are all hands-on cell phone and computer repair training center. We have trained hundreds of students from across the country right here in our training center located in Greenville, South Carolina. Stop being afraid to do repairs, stop searching for things because a lot of things you don't even know what to search for, and don't practice on somebody else's device to grow your skill. Come on down and get training that'll give you the skill set to do the repairs and diagnostics to make the real money. Be sure to use code TECHMD at checkout and you'll receive $50 off of your course. I look forward to seeing you in class.
So first things first, guys, you're going to need to get a hot plate, heat gun, or hair dryer, and you want to warm it up where it is hot to the touch, where you can barely touch it. That's the first part. I usually just throw it on the hot plate for a couple minutes, and that is it. I like to have these tools. This is an iFlex, iseasmo, and we're going to probably need the 2UL screwdriver, which is the 00 screwdriver. But this thing might have Twerks in it. We'll find out as we go. And I got some T7000 to reseal it back up. This is my favorite glue to reseal up any phone. Let's get some tweezers out just in case we need them. Let's go ahead and pull off all the little extra tabs that we got that Samsung sent us. How nice of them. Okay, I wouldn't recommend pulling this tab off yet until we're ready to put the front camera on there for the fingerprint sensor reader. I'm going to leave that on until the very last second. Alright, so now that it's got warmed up enough, it's usually a little too hot to handle, so I like to wear a left glove or something like that to work with. Unless you're right-handed, then other way. Just going to get in there very nice and easy. I would say about a ½ inch. Now I've worked with the A20, the A50, and the A10 so far. And I'm assuming the A70 is very similar. The parts certainly look like it on how it's going to open. And this is definitely just plastic back here, so you don't have to worry about breaking it, unlike the other Galaxies. And if it's starting to give you too much struggle to pull it up, make sure you warm it up a little bit more. Be careful around the lenses, you don't want to break it. You don't want to dig too deep there. There looks like there's some antennas. Okay. Looks like we got it open here. It's pretty glued on. Alright, let's set that aside here, and we're going to continue working on taking this thing apart. We're going to have to transfer everything. The other way would be just transferring the screen. So I'm going to show you real quick if you just bought the screen, glass and LCD. Now I'm assuming you're like, well, why can't we just replace the glass on this? Well, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but there's nobody even doing this particular repair in our area. And the part has to be worth it. How much did you guys pay for the part?
The phone? The
Part.
Screen? It was $115.
The screen was $115. So that is a little pricey. If you had some special equipment and the glass only, you could separate it. Here's the downfall for buying glass only, guys. If you're buying glass only, you're not going to have the strength of original screen. So you want that Gorilla Glass. That's why you want to have the original screen that you know you're getting from Samsung, a service pack. Yeah, it's a little bit more money, but you know that you're going to get the strength. If you take this into a repair shop, have them show you this box that you're getting a service pack from Samsung. If they can't show it to you, they're probably not using original parts. If you want us to use original parts, well, you already heard how expensive the parts are, and that's as of January 2020. Parts could go down in a year or two if you're watching this video in 2021 or 2022, but the only way to really know is to look at the link in the description and find out what's available. Now, buying aftermarket parts are not always a bad thing, but the downfall to aftermarket parts is you no longer have an OLED screen. Okay, so it's not as high quality, but it's going to get you by with a much cheaper price and get you in and out of this phone at a much cheaper price. Of course, doing this yourself at home shouldn't be too difficult if you're handy. If you're not handy, it's going to be very difficult, so I would not recommend it. Handy meaning like you have experience working on doing puzzles or chess. You're just that kind of mind. I'm just taking a plastic tool here and see if we can get in between. This is not required. Oh, it looks like there's a SIM card right here. We're going to eject this one. Use the SIM card ejection tool, some very fine tweezers to get that out. Looks like this is a dual SIM phone. Alright, so I didn't initially get in there, so let's try this here. Right, get in between the frame. Now let's try to run our plastic tool around. There we go. So since this is a plastic frame pulling off, if you use metal you can break stuff, and we're going to try to prevent breaking stuff today. Alright, so let's go ahead and disconnect this main cable here. Oh, and the battery too, of course, just in case you turned it on. And let's disconnect the other one. And set that aside. This is where the screen comes in right here. So if you were to separate the front here, you'd separate it away from this plastic frame and warm it up and pull it off. And then you use T7000 glue all around and stick your new screen on and weave it right through here and plug it in. You don't need to remove anything else. If you try removing this battery without proper heat, well, you're going to have a lot of problems. So you need a lot of heat to remove these because there's no pull tabs on this battery whatsoever. We're not sure why Samsung's are making more non-removable battery devices. I guess they're hoping that people will just upgrade. Alright, so let's go ahead and transfer that camera, the first thing I was worried about. You want to make sure your surface is ultra clean before plugging this in. Because it's very sensitive how it works. I'm going to go ahead and remove this cable here and disconnect it up here. How you do that is you just get some fine tweezers right at the head and pop up and pull right out. Any other way of popping it out will probably damage the unit, so you got to be really careful. Now, I'm assuming this bottom piece is glued on like the other ones, but maybe not. Yeah, so it's giving me already some resistance, like there's a screw here. So what we're going to do is warm it up. And I'll show you guys that in a minute here. Let's check the front here. We're looking like we have one screw right here. And I'm just setting these outside of my plate here. Looks like we don't really need to organize these screws anyways though. All these screws are exact same, but these ones are different than those. So don't mix those up. And same with that black screw. The motherboard is not glued down on the front, which is really nice. Everything seems to be glued down. Let's just see though real quick. Okay, so the battery is actually not that bad. It's coming up a little bit. But let's go ahead and put this face down on your hot plate, hot pad, or heat gun. Now, well, obviously you wouldn't put it face down with your heat gun. So if you're using a heat gun, you're going to do the same thing with the back, but probably a little bit extra heat. And warm it up really hot to the touch.
ASAP created a solution to maximize the total amount of power that can be safely generated without using fossil fuels. This is enough energy to power solder equipment, laser machines, AC and ventilation systems, and any heating element for all sorts of repairs you might encounter. Building mobile solutions that cut your expenses. Whether you have 1 store or 20 stores, maintain the territory, all while cutting overhead rent. Do away with your added expenses, cut costs, and order your custom van now.
And that's going to help all the components actually lift off and remove off the back of the actual unit itself. So while that's warming up, or you're using a heat gun, you can pause it and wait for me. You can start plugging everything in. Maybe, actually it looks like we need a speaker here and that there. We can't do anything until that's done, except for screw this in, looks like. So I'm going to leave it on the heater. I like to use really high heat. I've talked to some other people and they like to use 60 to 80 degrees Celsius. I like to use between 100, 110, 120, whatever the machine can get up to, because it gets it up to a higher temp and warms up everything quicker instead of sitting there slowly warming up things. I can get things up much hotter. So when the battery becomes warm and hot to the touch, you go fill it. Not hot, but warm to the touch, I would say. That's when you can start actually removing it here. So we're going to give it another 30 seconds, and then we'll start separating stuff. So if it's on a hot pad, or, well, a heat gun, I would say, you want to immediately remove this as soon as you're done warming it up. I just leave it on the unit. So get the battery off the heat as soon as possible. Make sure that you're very careful not to puncture the battery, because this will light on fire, spark your hair, and make you cough for days. These are very dangerous, and they're no joke. Do be careful. All right? This should pop up with ease now as well. All right, and then let's get under here, and this will come right up. And then the last component is your ear speaker. This is the one that loves to break. You gotta be really careful with that. Okay, this came up really easy. On other Samsungs, they like to break. Seems like everything is good to go. And so, once again, remember, if you want to just separate it, you can start separating it. The iFlex tool, you can just run your tool right here and start separating it away from the actual frame. But we're not going to do that today. We are just showing you how Samsung designed this phone to be fixed. Alright, so let's put the ear speaker in. And looks like it's part of this. Let's try to remove the new one here. We don't need that since this whole thing came up, which is nice. And go ahead and set your vibrator in there. And let's do the bottom piece here. Plug in your front camera. Plug this piece in. Got the bottom screws in, we're good there. Let's get this sitting in there. Careful not to touch the cameras. Screw it down, motherboard. Alright, let's plug this back in very carefully. I like to use my tweezers. Any of these tools can be found in the link in the description, and hopefully the parts very soon as well. I will make sure the owner of Injured Gadgets gets these in stock for you guys. Okay, we got that plugged in. Now we're going to get the battery. It already has all of its glue. If that glue were removed, I would recommend redoing that glue. Putting down some tape or this glue, it works as well. Alright. Plug in our cables. Get our frame on. At this point you could test the unit. Doesn't exactly want to clip on here. Gotta push the clips in a little bit here. Did you want me to put her SIM card in?
We have it at home actually. I don't know what was in there.
Okay. Yeah, there's no SIM card in there right now. You know how to remove it out, right?
Yeah, the pin thing and pull out that
Yep.
door.
Just removing any extra glue here, and same with the back unit. Best to take it off and apply some new glue. It's all been taken off. I have to get another tube of T7 here. Find out. Doesn't have to be exactly the way I'm designing it here, but you obviously don't want to get it into any of the components. You can use Tessa tape if you want, but T7000 glue is so cheap and it's used on so many different phones. It's really the preferred glue. Now with T7000 you want to hold it down for about, I would say, a good 2 to 3 minutes with some pressure down like this on your fingers. If you're a professional, this is available, and I call it the phone smasher. I don't know what it's called, but you can find it on their website. So just put the phone right in the middle and twist down and smash, and then just leave it on there for 10 minutes and you know it's going to be a really good sealed phone. So anyways, don't forget to put the SIM card in there. I didn't do that yet, but I'm going to here in a minute. So that's it, guys. I really appreciate you watching the videos. I will do some more in the future, and I plan on making some review videos and you name it. Maybe even some drop test videos. Hopefully get some better cameras and really start accelerating this channel. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and more content will be coming soon. And I always like to listen to you guys on your comments, so I'll always, most of the time, respond to your comments. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and extra part of the outro of the video here, I'll show it's turning on and working, and that's it. Thanks. Thanks, guys.